Well, hey everyone, it is Wednesday and we've got some stuff to share with you today. Not a ton, but I'm looking at my table and it looks like a lot, but it's not because this goes back to like last Wednesday. So I only made like a couple of things a day. I've been using so much of the blanket yarn that my hands are tiring more quickly than if I use like Parfait Chunky or Sweet Snuggles. Toby, don't do that, buddy. He wants to get into the bag. A couple of things that I forgot to mention in my market recap. Almost dropped that. You know, I started using the stitch markers to hold on the tags, and they worked great. It was so easy to take them off. That was a time saver, big time. So I really did like using the stitch markers. I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but I took my iPad with me because I wanted to see if it would connect to my phone. Like, do I have a hotspot? Will it work? And it will connect, but I don't have the proper reader for it because what plugs into my phone will not plug into the iPad. Go figure. So I have the little square card reader tap thingy on order. I doubt it'll be here in time for this Saturday, but fingers crossed that it'll show up, and then I have to learn how to use it. Speaking of iPhones and iPads, I got a notification today from Square saying to disable your automatic updates on your iPhone and your iPad if you use those for Square, because for some reason it is crashing Square with that update until they can figure out what the problem is. So, just an FYI, if your stuff hasn't already updated, just turn off the automatic updates in your phone and your iPad. You go into General and just turn off automatic update. You know, settings and then General. You guys know how to do it. So when I was after this market, I decided I need some good signage. And I was on the hunt for a place that I can get it made inexpensive. I was going to go through Amazon and then changed my mind. I found a shop on Etsy where if you order it today before 5 p.m. Eastern, they will print and ship it out tomorrow. Very fast service. Now, of course, you pay a little bit extra for that service. And my banner will be in today sometime. I was hoping it would be early, but it's FedEx and they usually show up here late, like after dinner time late. You know, because we're out in the middle of nowhere. Once I see it, I'll share the designer with you, the shop on Etsy. You have to supply the image file. They don't design it for you. So when I did mine, I thought I had the file right. And I guess it's an auto-generated email where they give you the link where you upload your file. And I replied to that email, or that auto-generated email, and said, I hope it works, because I was very unsure of how to do it. So I have Photoshop Elements. I went into that and opened up what I thought was a canvas of 60 inches by 24 inches because I ordered a 2 foot by 5 foot banner. And made my little thing, uploaded the file. Well, she replied to my reply and said, this will come out to be about 3/4 of an inch by 10 feet. What are you trying to order? So I told her I wanted the 2x5 and how I came up with that. So she asked for a screenshot of that. And well, it didn't take what I punched in for the dimensions. That happens sometimes. Like, it doesn't like what you chose, so it'll like change it. So anyways, I had to redo that file, uploaded it, told her I re-uploaded it, told her I thought I had it right. She got back with me. She said it looks great. She's going to send it to production. So I wasn't totally going blind with it. But anyways, make a long story short, I made the sign say, crochet is handmade, 1 stitch at a time. And then underneath that, I put, please handle our plushies with care. Now, I do plan on making some other signs as well, but these I can do myself. I don't need a service for. In the market video, you guys were so helpful with throwing out there different things that I could make my signs say. One in particular I pinned to the top of the comments because they were fantastic, and there was like 5 different ones. That was Rebecca. So if you want to check out little sayings that you can put on your signs, just go back to the market video and it's pinned to the top in the comments. And just, you can scan through the rest of the comments as well, because there were a lot of good suggestions. So one of my thoughts was, because I didn't want to take up valuable real estate on the table with signs, was to make little strips and hang from the baskets, the shelf baskets. And then somebody commented that I could do that, and that like reaffirmed my thought about that. So that's the plan, is to make little signs, laminate them, punch holes in it, and use little S hooks, or who knows, maybe even my stitch markers, and pin them to the baskets. And then they're right there. And it's not taking up any space. You do them thin enough so that it doesn't interfere with anybody reaching for something. So that's the plan. Those I will have done for Saturday. I'll have my banner for Saturday. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I have the card reader for Saturday. That way I can use the iPad and see what I'm doing. So just a thought. And I think that's all I wanted to add to that I forgot in the last market video. So what did we make? We made stuff. We made some stuff. Now, before Friday's market, I made some more ducks. Same as the yellow one, but in different colors. So I did the mallard. I pulled them out of my market bag so I can show you. You guys probably spotted them on the table, but I didn't get to share them with you. So this is the Mystical Fresh something. One of the 2 grains, not the Spearmint, the other one. This is a Bernat yellow, Bernat baby in white. The wings are brights, and this is the gray cloud, or cloud something. It looks gray and tan, but in the mystical. I thought this turned out so nice. I'm shocked that I still have it. Granted, it's only been at one market, but I'm surprised I still have it. So we did this one. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should do a white one. Well, I didn't do white. But I did do one all out of the gray. The cloud, whatever it is in Mystical. And like I said, this is a Bernat yellow. I think it is sun-kissed. And they're just, I love this pattern. This is the pattern that's by Amigurumi Estonia on Etsy. I love this pattern. It's so easy, and the only sewing is attaching the head. And it's not one where, I've done it myself, but some people have also told me they'll work the head in reverse, and so that they can do it attached to the body instead of having to sew it on. But because of the direction of this head, like that is the back or the bottom where you close, you can't do that with this pattern. Unless you want to sew a beak on, but I love this pattern. It's just gorgeous. And it's so easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of time. I don't think it takes a lot of time. So we made those 2 ducks. And I'm sure I had a couple other small things that I put in the market bags that I didn't pull out to show you, but nothing that like sets off any bells, if you know what I mean. So anyways, I tried a few new patterns, and of course I did some repeats. So out of the things that sold, one of the things that I needed to remake was the chicks and eggs. So I've made 4. Now I think I sold 5. I do want to make some more, and today's Wednesday. Market is on Saturday. I don't know how much I'll get done because I am working on a couple of orders. So, I mean, I'll have enough. I just like to be prepared. So I did this one, and this is the Bernat tie-dye-ish with a mystical chick. I was unsure last time when I used this yarn for the egg, but all the ones that I did this type of stuff with, they sold. So I can make more. I still have some more of this yarn, but I did one of these. And then I did, using that gray, I did this one with a mystical chick. And then I used the pink quartz with a mushroom from Bright's chick. I don't know, they're just so pretty. And then this is that yarn that's not so soft. And I'm not sure how I feel about it being in egg form. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It did seem like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know. It did seem like it was coming out kind of big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I did leave a round off the bottom of the eggshell. Otherwise, it probably would have swallowed up the little chick. And he is also in mystical. But this is not a pleasant yarn because of the stiffness of it to work with. Those other 3 are fantastic. And that chicken egg pattern is from Cozy Hooked Creations. So the next thing that I worked on, and I didn't do many, was replacing the yellow mini birds. But I did the mystical. I've been on this mystical kit. So Michael's had them 35% off, I think it was. And I ordered some more mystical because when I ordered it, I just ordered one of each color, you know. That way if I don't like the color, I'm not stuck with a lot. But I really like how this yellow works up. And so I ordered some more, and it came in. And it was funny because I had a voucher, or reward voucher, I think they call it. I had a $5 reward voucher. I had ordered enough to get free shipping, but if I used the reward voucher, then I had to pay for shipping because it dropped me below the dollar amount. They shouldn't be able to do that. So Sue needed a spearmint, and I was like, you know what? I'm ordering it right now. I can order for you, and that way I can use my voucher before it expires. So I have, Sue, I have your spearmint, and I think it's a much prettier green than the fresh, whatever that is supposed to be. Spearmint is really pretty. So we did 2 mini birds. And then, you know, there's stuff that I still need to replace. And things that I just wanted to get made that just aren't going to happen. I do need to make a few more of Crochet Customs Bunny, which I will do probably today. But first I have to make 2 items that go in one of my orders, because that's my goal, 2 a day, and I'll be done by the end of the week. So I tried Kira's bunny using Big Twist plush, and these come out to a really good size in the plush. So I might make a few of these for mine and Sue's market on the 19th. Because I only have a few colors of the Big Twist plush, so I think I can get a couple. And then I'll have those special for that market. I don't want to make a lot because I don't want to get stuck with a lot of Easter stuff. Although, you know, bunnies you can sell anytime. I just don't want to get stuck with them. And those are easy enough to make that won't take long. You know, an hour or so, and I could have 2 or 3 whipped up. So the project that I'm working on is, ta-da, corn. After my last order of 12, someone else contacted me and wanted 12. And I had to order the yarn for it. I got it in, I think it was Wednesday of last week. So I got started on these. My goal is 2 a day till I reach the 12, and then her order will be finished. And I have 6 of these completed. 6 or 7. The bag's way over there. But I'm at least halfway done with these, so I'll be excited to finish this. And then I have another order to start on, which I will probably start today as well, because it's for swings, and those go pretty quick. So if I do 2 corns, 2 swings, and then I can move on to other things, then I'll be knocking out 2 orders at once. Then a couple other people contacted me about things that I have already have made. And if you are one of those 2 people, let me know before Friday, because I'm taking all this stuff to market with me. I am more than happy to pull it for you and ship it to you. But you have to let me know before Saturday or Friday, because the car will be packed Friday because I got to leave early Saturday morning. Anywho, what else did we do? Well, I had bought a couple of more patterns from the Amigurumi Estonia that I like those little ducks from. I think I showed you a bunny last time. But the yarn I was using wasn't very friendly to work with. So I want to try it again, but using a softer yarn. But I tried one of her other patterns, and it's for a platypus, and she gives you 2 ways to do it. You can do a normal looking platypus, or you could do a Perry the platypus. I chose to do Perry, and this is how he turned out. This seems long, but platypus have a long bill. I like this hat on this pattern much better, but I did it out of the brights, and it was huge, so I got out Parfait Chunky and did the same pattern and did it smaller, and I like the hat smaller like that than that big giant hat that looked like it wanted to swallow up his head. So this is, other than the bill, and the hat is no-sew. All the arms and legs and everything go in. So, and the bills, you know, that's easy to, is it? Did I sew this on or did it get crocheted? I'm pretty sure I sewed it on. I don't remember. He's been sitting over there. I made him before the market, but I did not take him to the market with me because I had the 2 other Perrys, one of which sold. Thank you very much. So this one, I kind of like the body on the other one better, but I do like the hat for this better. So I may end up mixing the 2 patterns. But this one's cute. He's cute too. I think the other one, it would just be quicker because I think it would be quicker. Just because. So, but he's cute. I do like him. Again, this is Amigurumi, Estonia. And the chenille brights from Parfait Chunky, which, if I did not mention, it is on sale right now for $2.99 instead of $3.99. So, if you need some, now's the time to get it. And then Parfait Chunky for the hat. And I still have a couple of more patterns that I purchased from her that I haven't got a chance to try yet. I'm trying to mix it up. I still have a yarn end to take care of on this one. I was playing with the Loaf Unicorn from Katie the Celestial Homebody. And I'm getting so low on eyes. Now she says to use a 12, I think it's a 12 millimeter eye. Don't quote me, it might be a 14. And I'm like, it needs to be bigger. So these are 16. And they look bigger on camera than they do face to face. So I'm almost thinking maybe a little bigger than that. And these are the sinker eyes. But on these, it has that dome back that just drives me crazy. And so I put the backs on upside down. And it did not pull the eyes in as much as it usually does. So he's a little bug-eyed. I don't know if you can see that. And then I did make one other tweak. I did the muzzle a little different. I'm not sure that I like it. But when I did it the way the directions say on the pattern, it just looked flat on the face. And I felt like it needed to stick out a little bit. And I did the ears a little bit different instead of just slip stitching so that they would be just a little bit bigger. So I have that end to work in. And then I used one extra piece of curlicue for hair and then one for the tail. So I wanted to try and get at least 3 of these made. I have 4 colors of this, and this is Fluffy Flex. I wanted to do like maybe one of each. But, I mean, the yarn is kind of soft, but it is a little bit hard to work with. So I don't know that I'll get all of those done by Friday. And of course, foot doctor appointment Friday. So that cuts into any last minute prep time. But that's fine. I have plenty of stuff. I am not worried about having stuff to sell. I have plenty. This is just things that I wanted to make, if you know what I mean. So I would like to get a few more of these done. Not sure if I like how I did the snout, muzzle, nose, whatever. Definitely don't like how I did the eyes. Now, I don't know. I think it's because they're offset. I'm not a fan of the offset eyes. The snakes, no. Yeah, the snakes and the turtles, they're fine. because of the shapes of the head. But when they have to go on the front like this, the offset looks odd. It makes them look cross-eyed. So just weave in that end and we'll be done with that one. Then I did purchase other patterns. You guys, I have a problem. I have a real problem with buying patterns. I can't stop myself. So I was looking at one pattern that had 4 different versions of the thing in it. But I wasn't a huge fan of the price, and it did look really complicated. So I came across a similar pattern, and it's not bad. It was pretty easy to follow. It was, well, I did find a couple of errors in the pattern. Just some, like you can't do an increase times 6 and end up with 24. Like it should have said increase times 12 and gives you 24. There were a couple of places like that. Not a big deal. It was easy to figure out. But when you're getting a paid pattern, you don't usually expect to find those kind of mistakes, but we're all human. They happen. But anyhow, this is a cat kiss. Not a cactus, a cat kiss. I think I said that right. So it's a cat that looks like a cactus, and he comes out of the pot. I thought it was kind of cute, and I think it'll look better in the spearmint on the mystical. So I did that so I wouldn't have to go back and add spots. I used the mystical so that it has, you know, some color variation to it. But I do think it'll look better in the spearmint. And I think this is mushroom in brights. This is peach in brights. The only thing that I think I would do different on the next one is if she has you surface crochet the flowers. That was very difficult. I did that on the tail because it was first. Next time I'll just make the flower and sew it on. And on this one I made the flower separate and sewed it on because I was like really struggling. So his whiskers and his little eyebrows are done in a shade of green to keep it plant-like. And I used a little bit of goblin to make his nose. But I think this could be really cool looking. I know the second time it'll come out so much better. But I like that. Now, the thing with this shop, which is Easy Crochet Plushies, it says it's a 70% off sale when I bought it. And I jumped on it because it said the sale was ending in like 3 hours and however many minutes. But then the very next day, it was 70% off again for that day. And when it expired, it went back to 70% off again the next day. So it's a gimmick. Regular price says it's $9.60. And I'm like, I would not pay $9.60 for that pattern. There'd have to be a whole lot more to it. So I was like, I'll get it while it's 70% off. But then when it kept coming up, like it ends at midnight, but then it starts again. And then it ends at midnight and it starts again. It's just a gimmick. So I paid like $2.88, I think, for this pattern. So we have that one. And then from that same shop, we're almost done, I promise. From that same shop, Easy Crochet Plushies, she had a chameleon pattern. And I've had this one saved for a while, but I've never really paid attention to the sale thing like I did once I made my purchases. So this is another no-sew pattern. It was very interesting. And I decided to, let me test it with Parfait Chunky, and I did. And I showed it to Mary, and she says it looks kind of like a fish. And I showed it to John, and he said it looks kind of like a fish. And I'm looking at it, and I'm going, you know what? It does kind of look like a fish. And then I Googled chameleon, and they do kind of have their heads shaped kind of like this. So it is not a fish. So I did this one with the Parfait Chunky. I used Goblin. I have no idea what color blue that is. And then the kiwi for the light green and white for the eyes. Doing yarn under, I don't know if you can tell, the body kind of shifted. It looks a little twisted. So I wasn't sure, like, is that how it's supposed to be? Did I do something wrong? Did I stuff it wrong? Is it my yarn under? I mean, that's a decent size for Parfait Chunky. But for the time that it took, and now granted, this was my first one, but for the time that it took in this size, I didn't think that I could put an acceptable price on it. So I sat the pattern aside and I moved on to something else. And I need flamingos, but I'm out of the pink yarn. Well, not out, but I didn't have enough to make either one of the two flamingo patterns that I've been using, which was Crochet Grove and I cannot think of her name. The one with the little headband on it. So I started looking for a smaller one because I don't have enough pink. And I came across Crafts Go Bloom. She has a free tutorial on her YouTube for a little flamingo, and it is no-sew. And I'm like, really? Well, let's check this out. So I watched the video, wrote it down, then I gave it a shot. And there were a few sections in the video where what she was doing was a little bit tricky that I did have to watch to see how it was done, because what I wrote down from her on-screen instructions did not make sense to me. So I had to go back to those sections of the video and watch, and it was like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. I did make one change. I added something to the flamingo. I had to give it a hat because it looked naked. It needed something. It looked like this had just this big head. It needed something. So we made a hat using the Perry the Platypus hat pattern and sewed it on. It's actually my second hat. I did one, but it was yellow, like one of the yellow in the blooms where it had the flowers in it, because I was thinking spring, and it just didn't look right. So I went with black and a little pink band on it. So it is no-sew. The wings are like a shell stitch. The beak is like a shell stitch. The only thing that you are sewing is the hole closed. You go back and you stitch the white around the nose and give it some eyebrows and eyelash if you want. I don't remember if she had it on hers or not. But it's a cute little shape. Now, it's not as elaborate as the other two patterns that I like to use, but I have maybe 2 feet of this color left, and that's the color that I need in the brights to make a flamingo. Now, I can do Crochet Grove's pattern with Parfait Chunky. It takes a little bit longer, and it's a lot more work. And I wanted it to be easy. Just saying. Well, then I went back to the chameleon pattern, and I used brights this time. and I curled its tail up instead of under, and I should have, I think, done it under, because most of the pictures online you see the tail is curled under. They are curled up too, but most of them it's curled under. So this one, I did yarn over using brights, and I don't think that my body twisted like the other one did. At least visually, it doesn't look like that to me. It definitely turned out a lot bigger. Still looks like a fish. But when I was looking at the pictures, they had a very distinctive mouth line, lip line, whatever. So I did a surface slip stitch just across to make it look like it had a mouth. And I thought, well, maybe that'll make it less fish-like. I mean, it's still it has that fish-shaped head. But again, if you go look at pictures of chameleons, it's there. It is there. So I have just one more thing, and it's not finished yet. I'm still working on the hair. And then I have to weave in ends. When I did the loaf unicorn, because I was unsure about how I did the nose, I was like, what other unicorn patterns do I have? I know I have some, so I searched the computer. And I had a Madeline Mako unicorn that I haven't tried yet. So I decided to give it a go. And I used that Fluffy Flex again. It's not the easiest to work with. Especially after you've been playing with Mystical the way I have. Mystical is such a pleasure to work with. And then you get one that's just a little bit stiffer of a yarn. You feel like you're fighting it. I mean, it's not awful, but it's not as soft as Mystical. Anyways, so I'm working on this unicorn. And I need to add some more hair. Like these strings all get worked in. But I want to add a couple of more things to hair. I'm doing the hair different from the way she did it, which the way she did it would be much faster. But I'm going to add a couple of darker pink strands into the hair, and then I have to give it a tail, and it'll be finished. But I'm looking at it this morning because I was working on this last night, and the line in the nose for where you do like chain 4 and then to do the muzzle, I have it going diagonal. And again, those are those 16mm eyes. It kind of makes her look mad. I don't know. She needs some nostrils, finish her hair, and give it a tail, and it is done. And that has been a full week, minus a couple that went to market. That has been a full week of making stuff. Slowly. Like I said, I have 6, maybe 7 of these corns done. I can't remember. 2 a day. Got to make 18 swings. And market this Saturday. Live on Friday night. We are still going to do that. And then in 2 weeks, I'll have my market with Sue. And then the week after that, I'm back at that place. I'll be prepared this time. I know what to expect, and that way I can expect the worst and it won't be so bad. Plus, I will have signage in place. So that will help a lot. Anywho, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you Friday night.